Yo, what's good, y'all? Back at it for another episode of Dot Connect Wednesdays. This is episode 27. We're gonna be talking about more U.S. banks to collapse, bank runs, Operation Choke Point, and much, much more. Yo, Steve, Steve got some. He went down the rabbit hole, man. He deep dived, so he got some heat for y'all, and then I'm gonna follow right behind him.
All right, let's talk about it. Listen, anytime there's uncertainty inside of this market or any market, you have to know or have the ability to look where most people aren't going to look, right? So let me start with the bail-ins first, guys. And I'm gonna take accountability for my part in creating some problems, right? By putting out you're not talking about kids, and my wife says it all the time, words of power, right? So you have to use them correctly. So in covering the bank runs and even doing this a year prior to them happening, we've contributed to, well, I'm going to say me, I've contributed to fear on the internet, not fear in the sense of wanting to control somebody into something. It's really just in sharing of information. But what I realized after these three banks collapsed last week, so Signature, and not in the exact order, Silicon Valley Bank and Silvergate being the first out of the three to collapse. What it does is, and I got to give it up to the government, they're playing this pretty well, and they're not as dumb as I might have thought in the crypto world. So with that said, what happens with guys like myself when we go out there and we talk about these bail-ins and we show you all the bank runs that are happening, all over the world, it is conditioning people to being fair and to actually really create a bank run at the end of the day. So the more I looked at it, the more I analyze it, if we continue to fear this banking system and pull our money out, we're going to collapse it, and it'll be our own demise that we're creating. And that's exactly what the powers to be want. And this is why they never put regulations behind crypto, right? Because everybody knows, like, listen, if something's illegal in this country, it takes them no time to just shut the shit down, right? But they needed the industry to grow so they can see exactly what they need to cover, right? The other reason for the delay, especially with the United States, is we have such a complex banking system, right? When you start going overseas to these different countries, there's not that much red tape and bureaucracy the way there is in the United States, right? China, one rule, Russia, one rule. It's just a whole lot of one rule situations, and they just dealing with old systems, and all systems are go. Nobody's trying to fight against those systems. But here in the US, you got two fractions, and they'll all call out different shit. And we got to go back and forth every 4 or 8 year cycle to kind of hit the reset button on things. So this is what we deal with in America. So when I've been watching the hesitation on the SEC to rule, but I'm like, that's not the governing body that's going to rule this. This is why it allows, as I go into this, you'll start to see where I'm connecting the dots. When you don't have rules, you can create rules as you go along, right? And we kind of know from the pandemic and the way they handle it is there's a difference between, I tell my kids this all the time, there's rules and then there's law, right? They weren't even playing any of them, right? Because I don't abide by any rules. You could tell me what your rule is and I can decide if I want to play within there or just take my kickball and just beat the fuck out. So, and Champ and I deal with this on the city side also in New York, where you just deal with, and you might think they're dumb, but again, if you don't put it on paper, then you can kind of make the adjustments as you please when it's time to just pull the plug on certain things. And this is what all governing bodies do, right? They play dumb and then they enforce, right? So as I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, I'm contributing to the fear of bank runs because a bunch of people are hitting me behind the scenes. Steve, what bank should I put my money in? What's happening with the stuff you're calling is coming to fruition. And I hate to be correct in that sense, but it's almost like, guys, if you pull your money out of these banks, you're one, where are you going to put it? That's the first thing, right? Because if you're not prepared, then you're just a guy who just left all his cash in the bank like most people. And when you need it, you just access it. So if you don't know anything about gold, silver, you won't know what to buy. If you don't know anything about crypto, so you'll just be kind of running into another problem at the end of the day, exposing your money to more issues. Now, if you keep it underneath the mattress, I could tell you that in the foreseeable future, they're going to force us to put this money in the bank in order for it to be counted towards the digital conversion. What we're seeing right now, guys, is the actual system being implemented, right? We're leaving the old fiat system. Champ and I has been here since 2015. I'm not going to tell you that I thought like this in 15. I didn't. I heard decentralization. I was always an entrepreneur at the time, and when I started to see the power of the technology, and I was an XRP guy, similar to Champ when we first came into it, I said, you know what, it is about time for this banking system to be plussed up, right? It's still one of the oldest systems around. And it hasn't been touched by technology outside of, maybe Zelle. And speaking of Zelle, you figure like last month with all the deposits or Zelle transactions that started to pop up missing, right? They've even paraded the major banks in the United States to say, hey, listen, why aren't there any consumer protections on Zelle transactions that aren't going through? The banks are like, listen, that's a third-party product. We don't cover those, right? It's a free service that we're offering. So I'm talking to everybody. I'm like, yo, y'all ever had problems with Zelle prior to like what we're hearing now? Not a hitch. I've sent countless of Zelle transactions. Champ, you know it. You got it. The minute before you even hit send, that shit is clicked on the other side and it's transferred digitally, whether it's the same bank or different banks. So now all of a sudden they created a problem around Zelle, but they have to, right? Because now that's going to be replaced with the FedNow situation that they've been testing in New York first. Mm-hmm. So this is where we're going with all of this. Now start to look at these banks and the issues that they had. The three banks all happen to have one thing in common, and they all were early adopters in cryptocurrency. So whether it's Silicon Valley Bank that was investing in small and tech startups, which included a bunch of crypto companies right? Silvergate and Signature, both banks doing on and off ramp for institutional investors, not the common guys, right? These are the big guys now. So the big guys had a place to go. So when you just think about it, how are they able to buy all this Bitcoin and be able to manipulate this price back and forth? There's an on ramp that we're not associated with. This ain't Coinbase $25,000 a week or a day. This is like these dudes is putting them M's instantly, right? And they're off ramping M's instantly. Elon Musk and all these guys, they're not using the traditional exchanges that me and you were using. So once I started to go down the rabbit hole of what banks they're using, now I'm going to drop the list of the FDIC's hit list right here. And this is all the bank guys that you should be worried about. And if you're banking with them, you might want to be out of there. Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase took in a whole bunch of deposits over the weekend. New customers now, right? So now top tier banks are gobbling up regional banks right now. This is called expansion. This is what happens. Top tier banks are also doing business with the government, right? They are government, right? The reason that politicians rise to power, stay in power is because of these bankers and these institutional investors, right? So as I'm watching this, you look at these banks that just went down. These are early adopters, right? Who went against a traditional system of the way banking was done in America. They took two of the top banks out that are in charge of on and off ramping crypto. And what I mean by that is being able to get money into this market quickly and efficiently through a FDIC insured bank. Signature Bank, I'm not even going to call that a collapse, because what they're stating with that is that was a takeover by New York, right? That's a shot in the dark right there. That's a head kill for crypto right now. Anybody that's doing any crypto business in New York and California are going to be under scrutiny, and they're going to come in and just hijack the whole situation. And that's what they did with Signature Bank. These guys weren't in jeopardy of losing anything that would have caused them to collapse. This is New York arbitrarily making that call to say, yo, nah, we're in. This is a high risk bank. They can do it by law. And Champ's going to go over this on the second half of what we're doing to explain to you why this stuff is happening and why the government's able to do this. So now we were always focused on the SEC and their practices, but that ain't it. The FDIC is way stronger, right? It's a way stronger organization that can clamp down crypto in seconds, right? Because Gary and them weren't able to do anything outside of just giving people a little parking ticket, right? And then you just pay your parking ticket and you go about your day. Now they finally met their match with the elephant in the room. And the reason that the Ripple case has been taking so long is it has to match the timeline of, and Champ will bring this up again, of what's about to go live on March 20th, right? They're following that timeline closely. We've told you before, when the Ripple case is over, I'm just going to say if Ripple wins, they're going to create a catastrophic event in crypto, which we're seeing now, right? To offset that loss. So that way, that thing could just fly under the rug. Those who are in position with Ripple and XRP, you know what's up already. Those who aren't, then you might want to start getting some knowledge in this game. So they kept postponing this situation, even though they have all the facts to the case. The real issue, honestly, with the United States right now, and what I'm seeing with these banks is it's all about custody right now. You understand? This is what the fight is for. So when you're looking at these stable coins, when you're looking at the trillions of dollars that are inside of crypto, I'm going to tell you that ain't shit from what I just saw, right? I've never looked at crypto too deep on the centralized part of it because I've just assumed that, we pretty much had it covered, and I was wrong. So the banks that I just named to you are actually all crypto-friendly banks that are still around. So I'm just telling you that when you start to see these guys get picked off, Mercury Bank first. Keep an eye on Mercury Bank. Keep an eye on Axos. Those are the two largest players left. And then the rest of them are, I'm not saying they're not large players, but JP's not going anywhere. A few of these banks aren't. When you pay attention to Alliance Bank, Byline, and Customer Bank, right? And the reason for that is, take this down right here, guys, and I want you guys to research this too and bring it back to the university. Tacit. Has anybody heard of them? Put a 1 in the chat if you have, or 2 if you haven't. I'm going to tell you most of y'all probably didn't, because I didn't, and I'd be all over shit. Mm-hmm. Champ, have you heard of them?
Nope.
Okay. This is where we get cooking. Tacit Group, Inc. is the leading provider of private blockchain-based real-time solutions for FDIC-insured banks for their business-to-business clients, right? So we over here thinking some other shit, ETH and this and that. No, they already had it. This thing launched in 2019. They've processed, and so they created a product called Tacit Pay, right? And I'll drop that in there. They processed over $1 trillion in transactions already, B2B. That means they process more than the entire cryptocurrency market is valued at as a collective. So what are they processing at Tacit Bank, right? They built it on Google Cloud, right? Their ISO, and not the ISO you think. I will give you the ISO that they are, and you guys have to look out for this. ISO 27001, right? It's the global standard for effective information management. But the biggest part of this language is it's all things financial security. I keep hearing about the other ISO doesn't connect everything to the banks. You have to be compliant with this ISO.
Nice.
Nobody is talking about this in crypto. Nobody. Okay. And I'm sure this week after this airs, you'll probably start to see a little bit more of this conversation floating. What's today? Okay. Market Mondays was you guys watch Market Mondays the other day? Did they cover it well?
We'll see it on Monday.
Oh, okay. Oh, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see this on Monday, probably. I know they ain't cover it well. right? So I'm done covering the news, and I'm gonna unravel what's actually happening. So Tacit, when you go over to them, their use cases, guys, understand this. This is B2B. They already have it set up. Maritime financing, working capital management, logistics, private equity, all of this stuff is on the blockchain already. Commercial construction, mortgage warehousing, healthcare, franchise finance, right? So they have a blockchain 24/7 real-time payment process. These guys have been doing this since 2019, right? Here they're working with 6 banks, guys. And here are the 6 banks. And those 6 banks are part of the other prior banks that I gave you, but these are the 6 banks that are working with Tacit. Tacit was also working with Signature Bank. This was the bank that was processing. They were processing over the Tacit blockchain and using their technology for this. I didn't say H-bar. I didn't say ETH. I'm not calling out no other blockchain. I'm just telling you that there's a blockchain that's already in effect that's been working with FDIC insured banks on products. Logistics is a big part of their situation, right? And they already have a ton of data, guys, on what this has been doing for banks and customers, right? So this is all real-time solutions right now, right? Saving the banks a ton of money. All the features are open 24/7, 7 days a week. It's not closing down at all. So this is it, guys. They have the framework for what integratable blockchain is going to look like. It's also a $34 trillion industry, right? This real-time payment situation is a $34 trillion industry right now, right, as we speak. So now, going back, this is since 2019. So we're talking about something that's been in existence for almost 4 years already. And it's been 8 years in the making, right? Right. Glad y'all understanding this right now. Okay. So it provides secure real-time B2B payments capabilities 24/7. It also enables banks to utilize smart contract capabilities, and it's fully integratable with FedWire, right? So understand this, guys. They have already deployed smart contracts and mortgage transactions at these banks already. It's done. This shit has already been happening. It's already been happening. So now we have to revert back to understanding, like, okay, and I'm not saying that they're gonna completely corner this market, right? They're with 6 banks right now. We do know that a lot of our crypto projects that we research are with a ton of banks also, and they're only with United States banks. So there is still a whole world out here that they can't service, right? So they've developed more than 20 case uses, right? Including the logistics, the mortgage warehousing, which I'm big on, right? That's smart, commercial construction, private equity, capital calls. Guys, they took in so many applications this Saturday, right? This Saturday, banks were at work, like nonstop, new clients, acquisitions, people taking their money out of particular banks, bringing them to larger banks. Bank of America took on a shitload of money. JP Morgan Chase took on a shitload of money. So now when I'm sitting back and I'm looking at all of this, here we go. Look what just went live. Y'all fucking around. You remember we showed you this shit?
Yeah.
Right? Remember we showed you this shit? It's live now. You can go to your Fidelity app right now and start using cryptocurrency. But that shit didn't stop there. Why the fuck these dudes have ETFs? Not one, but 2. They got an ETF, FDIG, on the stock exchange currently, crypto ETF, compiled of a whole bunch of companies. We'll take this back to the university. I'm not going to kill you guys with a whole bunch of shit. But Coinbase is on here. It's just trading a bunch, right? Shopify. So once you start to see that list, you're like, okay, so what relationship do they have to crypto? These are payment processing companies. So you notice it's the crypto industry and digital payment ETFs, right? So they still haven't instituted the crypto companies fully yet, right? The only one I really saw was like Coinbase. They got a metaverse. They got a metaverse ETF with a bunch of companies on there also. So now our job this week is to bring it back to the university. We start to deep dive on these ETFs, these companies, and how they're lining up and pairing, right? All this, I'm telling you guys, we are here and it's here. Trust me. When that first stablecoin regulation goes, I'm by fourth quarter of this year, these numbers are going to start shooting up. These partnerships are already here. We've heard of these partnerships before, but we've never really seen anything really materialize from them because the systems haven't been live. They've just been testing it. So I told you guys last month, VeChain with Walmart tested a whole bunch of transactions. Everything's going smooth. Prior, and this is Walmart China. So prior to the VeChain blockchain implementation in Walmart China, when I sound like a broken record, but there's a lot of new people on here. It was taking Walmart 24 hours to locate products inside of stores. So it takes you a whole day to figure out where things are at. And if anybody knows Walmart and you've shopped there, you know that shit is a hot mess when you go in there, right? That system is not up to date. So now with the implementation of VeChain, Walmart's able to find products and items within their system in China in 3 seconds. Right. So you go from 24 hours to 3 seconds. So this, when you can save time, you save money. So when you're starting to see these technology companies scaling back and firing or having freezes and cutting staff, it's because, yo, this shit is already fully automated. We do not need any more smart people in here, overpaid smart people. Right. So now it's a massive tech layoff. Now, where are the tech guys going? Who's hiring? Cloud computing, security, blockchain. Right? Ripple is still hiring. You know, there's a lot of blockchain companies and crypto companies still hiring right now. Mm-hmm. So Fidelity launched their crypto exchange the same week that the banks all went under. So this is a fight for custody of your cryptocurrency right now as we speak. When the products first launch, they're going to come out with Bitcoin, ETH, and Litecoin. Right, those are going to be the three, and you'll see this on the news cycle. Pay that shit no mind, guys. That's just what they got to give you, right? Because if it's like Poly, XRP, HBAR, then it's like, wait, we're giving people too much information. Those three names have been around and synonymous in crypto for a long time. So if you ask anybody about cryptocurrency, they'll say Bitcoin. Right? It's Q-tip. Everybody thinks Q-tip is a cotton swab, but it's Q-tip's the brand. Bitcoin is not crypto. Bitcoin is a part of crypto. Like Champ likes to say, Bitcoin is a altcoin. Straight altcoin. It will soon be an altcoin.
Facts.
But that's a conversation for another day. So Fidelity just launched their crypto exchange. Guys, if you got the Fidelity account, you're already trading stocks on it, please bring this back to me. I don't use them for stocks, but I did sign up for my account, and I'm going to start to dig into what they're actually doing. But again, it's just Bitcoin and ETH. Right now to start. And as you know, Webull already has the ability to buy crypto. The only thing is you can't pull it off. There's no wallet set up there yet, right? So everything you buy on Webull has to stay on Webull. What's another one? Robinhood, right? Robinhood's carried crypto for a while. And they have since integrated a wallet. They didn't back in the day.
Right.
But now you're able to pull off your crypto on Robinhood, right? I don't think Fidelity has done the wallet situation yet. And the reason why these companies don't jump to do it is because now it forces their hand, meaning people could use them as an on-ramp and not an off-ramp. So they want to keep the money there on their exchange and then fully secured, right? So it is a place for people. I'm okay with it because it's adding more to the pot. I want to say the average Fidelity client invests about $140K a year. So we're talking about a whole lot of liquidity coming into this crypto market right now. Mm-hmm. Whereas Robinhood, the average guy on there, I think was like $50, right? So it was a lot of small mom and pop retail investors. So now the big boys are coming in, right? Can't even make this up right now, guys. So listen, be easy on these bank runs. If your bank is listed here, I will tell you to probably look at some alternatives to these banks, but if I had to guess, I don't think anybody's banking with any of these guys, if I had to guess. But if you are, you might want to be careful. If anybody's looking to play the stock market, this ain't financial advice, but there could be some shorts here, right? Everybody lined up for the Silvergate short. Everybody knew about the Silicon Valley short. These guys took money on the way out. The CFO was the same guy that was part of the Lehman Brothers. Like, you cannot make this stuff up. So what else we got? So we got Tacit, Mercury Bank, and Axos, guys. Please keep your eye on those two. Those are the ones that the FDIC is if you had to look at the next biggest guys behind Silvergate and Signature, is going to be these two guys right now, because not only were they big in their right prospective minds, but they've also generated a new client base from those banks closing. These are not mom and pop guys that are onboarding. These are institutional investors who are like, listen, I'm not missing this Bitcoin wave, right? These are the guys that are swinging those big hammers in Bitcoin and ETH, and they're making a killing, right? Okay, so here's the play, guys. This is exactly what they're going to do. They're looking to do away with these regional banks. What's going to happen with the United States banking system is it's going to totally collapse. Black banks, small credit unions, regional banks, they're going to have a tough time really keeping up with the integration part, right? Because a lot of these banks, and I've tried to bank Black, and these guys didn't have Zelle. I would have to use like a fintech company to like, listen, I don't want to bank and then have to go through PayPal to finish my transactions or pay vendors. Right, that's a heavy fee on me, and it's just adding more work. So this is why I can never bank with Black banks who just aren't, their technology just isn't there, right? So what happens when this new system comes? If you couldn't keep up with integrating Zelle, you definitely won't have the knowledge on this space, right? Smart contracts. If I had to guess, these guys don't have, when you look at these banks, they don't really have a huge, most of them are owned by a pastor at a church. Like, these aren't like guys with banking backgrounds who are hiring smarts to run these banks. These are like mom and pop situations. So a lot of the local community guys are going to be left behind. A lot of the credit unions are going to be left behind, which is then going to open up the gate for a lot of the tier ones to be able to capitalize on the market. When I say tier one, we're talking about the JP Morgans, the Bank of Americas, who we already know Bank of America is lined up with who, champ?
BOA, Ripple.
Right, they're already ready. They've been testing their products. JP Morgan has its own situation. Whatever that's going to be, cool. So when you start to look at the ecosystem, it looks devastating now, but it's actually a lot more clear of a picture for people who are thinking. So when Dub mentioned, I didn't know what happened to my HBAR, it's one of those things, guys, and we told you they're gonna box you out of your position. They're gonna crash this market tremendously. Bitcoin will get down to below 10,000, but the problem is none of us are going to be able to onboard. Right. So, and then it's like, okay, so where are we going to put our money? The other day I had money in USDC thinking that was safer than Tether. I was ready to short Tether, and it's just like, wait, what's happening here? So they got depegged from this whole situation. They're back to where they're at now. But, the key question is where do we keep our money to onboard in cryptocurrency? And once USDC started to depeg the other day, money flowed into XRP, right? So XRP is now a stable coin. Understand this. Champ and I have been holding on to XRP for years, and that was our inside joke. Now people are actually saying it. We're like, XRP is the longest stable coin in the world. That thing was like 20 cents. It stays where it stays, and it doesn't move, right? So I'm personally onboarding with XRP. If I have to liquidate to get some stuff out, I feel the safest at looking at that chart that it's not, the shit ain't 21% like Bitcoin on a Saturday. Like, that's crazy. Because it can go right back the other way, and people are down 10% today. So that's what people have been using it for. It's been said that the network has been used to assist USDC in its debacle. So you're starting to see what technologies are coming out the woodworks right now. So this Tacit situation, we have to watch this, because if they're going to be dealing with B2B with banks in the United States, then we don't know who else has a powerful blockchain that we have no alliance to, no allegiance, and may not even know what they are, because you guys are just understanding what this is right now, right? There's no coin attached to it. There's no investment outside of investing in, publicly traded companies right now. They haven't tokenized. So the one thing that Tacit is doing is they basically tokenizing the banks. This is the exact thing that Champ told you. Everything is going to have to be tokenized. All the crypto, we already know that's tokenization. All of the real estate, stock exchange, every stock ticker is going to be tokenized. Every share that you have is going to turn into an NFT to show ownership, right? This whole thing's about to be flipped upside down. So because we have the knowledge, we can see through that. Because you guys don't fully have the knowledge, you're not really paying mind to to what's happening. I found a quote in doing some of these slide presentations. I just wanted to kind of share it with you guys. And I wasn't going to drop this until Herman's event, but it did stick out to me. And I've heard it before, but never really applied it. Never really applied it fully. So give me a second here. Okay, so it says, if you want to know your past, look into your present conditions. If you want to know your future, look into your present actions, right? So one more time.
That's a bar.
If you want to know your past, look into your present conditions, right? If you want to know your future, look into your present actions. So when Champ and I started this university less than a year and a half ago, the one thing I could tell you guys is you guys all earn time in the market. So when Champ's in for 7.5 years, Steve's in for 7.5 years. When you combine that, that's over 15 years of combined experience in the crypto market, right? We've put our money in the crypto market at the same time. So you guys pretty much are, we're carrying you on our backs with the information that we gave you. We told you that you guys have some better entries than we did. Like I got VeChain entries for 20 something cents.
6 cents, yeah.
I've been touting this situation, right? You guys coming in 2 cents, no problem. So with that said, you have time in the market now, right? Because everybody in the 1% definitely has time in the market, because you get to see it for what it is. You get the 1% situation, and you get a snapshot of everything that's happening now. Champ has been posting like a madman in the 1% group, because there's been so much. Everything that he posts, and everything's pretty new to me because I'm not following all those projects that closely. My bag's already packed on most of them, but everything in the last month has been all about testing and systems going live, right? Upgrades, testing, systems going live, upgrades, testing, systems going live. So with that said, I'm gonna pass this over to Champ. He's gonna finish rocking y'all out on the second part of this, but I'm just telling you guys, if you're banking with any of those banks that I dropped in there, just keep an eye out on it. I was a little nervous with Bank of America until I saw the influx of capital that's coming to the bank. Mm-hmm. So I don't see them dudes being depegged. And if Chase and Bank of America go down, we got a real problem in this country. I'm gonna tell you that right now, because most people have these 9 to 5s and they can't even get to the bank in time to take the money out. Mm-hmm. And again, you're gonna take your money out to do what with it at this point? Nobody's equipped. Because if it's still sitting in there, it's sitting in there for a reason. I can't believe I unraveled a $30 trillion industry that's already been transacting underneath our noses. They did $1 trillion in transactions, guys. And over the weekend, I want to say they did probably close to 300 million in transactions just on Saturday. This is crazy.
Whoa.
So the SEC is they're not going to put any enforcement out, because they need to create a bank crisis in America. So when you start to look at the CBDCs, and this is the last thing I'm going to leave you with, all of this is really leading to creating a banking system problem in America, which is then going to give us the FedNow situation, which is just a CBDC that the United States is going to launch. Jerome Powell the other day said, oh, we're about a few years away from launching a CBDC, but this guy has never told the truth a day in his life. Right? There is no way that the United States is a few years away from launching their central bank digital currency, and everybody all across the world has launched theirs already. What's happening in the West, when you look at all the CBDCs in other countries, is it hasn't been adopted well. Mm-hmm. Those countries didn't have a real good game plan. right? Some countries said, oh, we changed the denomination. They shortened the amount of paper money that's out there. ATM machines are dry. Banks are closed down. They created a problem. Same thing with India. They created a banking problem, which then turns to you have to use this product, right? Because initially when they first introduce it, it's kind of a rollout. It's maybe you can use it, right? The same thing with the Swift and ISO going live now. It's a dual system, meaning you can stay on the Swift rail, or you can go ahead and, most banks are going to do both, right? They're going to stay on the Swift, and then they're going to slowly start to test more and more transactions on a new rail. Right. So I would say by second, third quarter, you're going to start to see all these implementations. You can go back to any old video that we have on our YouTube right now. I've been telling you guys that the banks are going to be the on and off ramp to cryptocurrency, period. So now it's a fight for the amount of people. So if we talked about 4% of the world population in crypto, how many of those people are American at the end of the day? Not too much. Right. So they have a whole new category of people that are about to come out. Cash App, PayPal, they have to get all these guys out the way.
Yep.
When it comes down to the on-ramp situation, because it's all about custody. And they probably, and for sure, they hate guys like us, because guys like us are telling you exactly what to do. Cryptocurrency is all about self-custody. No one teaches you about self-custody, because it's almost like, working with a bank, being able to just get your debit card and you hold your transactions on your own. The banks wouldn't be able to make money on that, because at that point they wouldn't have your money to access to make money on. So same situation with cryptocurrency. They're going to create, I'm hoping they don't create a fractional banking situation the same way they did before. And I don't think they will, because it's going to have to be backed by, more than just paper, right? There's going to be assets back to it. So with that said, what you're seeing now is a attack on the banking industry to create fear, uncertainty in the market, the banking market. So when they do come out with the new system, we will oblige, right? Because the part that I'm not telling you about is when the lights go out, that's going to be the cyber attack, right? That's going to be the ultimate crippler, right? So now when they give you this CBDC and they tell you all this security and this technology that's wrapped around it, where it can work in times of uncertainty. We know that when the power goes out, there are blockchains that can still work behind the scenes. We know that all it takes is for one computer to cut back on anywhere in the world for transactions to show back up again. So they know the power of this technology, guys. And the SEC stayed out of it to create this problem, because that's the only way that you can get United States citizens to even go for the CBDC. And we've already told you that once they implement the CBDC, they're going to implement carbon credits and they're going to implement a social credit score. And there's nothing we can do at that point once that stuff is there, because most people don't know how to on and off ramp or self-custody their own crypto. And this is why I tell you that when you're part of a university, you can live in two different worlds, right? Because the one thing about these cronies is they always build a back door for themselves, right? I don't care how big this warehouse is, it might look dark as shit with no windows. There's always a fucking door. And Champ and I have the doors, and we've been teaching you the doors. So next week, we're going to start focusing on Uniswap, decentralized ways, Uniswap, MetaMask. We're going to start training you guys on that. What else are we doing? We showed you, well, we knew this already, but buying with Cash App, sending it over to Bitcoin. You got to understand, Bitcoin is going to be our best friend, Champ, right? Because if we ever have to sell something, you're going to convert to Bitcoin. You're going to take that Bitcoin address, send it over to Mercury Bank or whoever is going to be the off ramp, and we're just going to be selling Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin and ETH will be our friends until they're not. And Champ smiling too. So I don't want to see any of those guys go away, because once they, and they're already talking about ETH being a security. So now at this point, we only have Bitcoin. And if I was never a believer that they're going to run this shit up to $1 million, I'm a believer today. All money has to flow through that in order for us to be able to sidestep stuff. This is Mt. Gox part 2 happening right now. Go ahead, Champ, fuck them up.
Yo, listen, Steve bombed on y'all, so I'm sitting here charged a little bit right now. But listen, anybody who has ever heard of this, I want y'all to drop this in the chat. Drop a 1 if you heard of it. Drop a 2 if you haven't. Anybody ever heard of Operation Choke Point? Good. I'm glad we got some ones in here. All right. So for those of you who have never heard of Operation Choke Point, so and I'm about to. This is a little bit of a live dot connect, right? So in 2013, who was the president? It was President Obama, right? Who was his vice president? Joe Biden, right? Now open your ears.
The same Joe Biden today, or the other Joe Biden?
It was the other Joe Biden.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The one that was less sleep. Yeah.
Okay.
So look, in 2013, Operation Choke Point, it was an initiative, right, that was implemented through the Department of Justice. And what they did was they investigated a bunch of banks in the United States and the business that they did with firearms dealers, payday lenders, and other companies, essentially, that they believed to be high risk for fraud and money laundering. So this was never actually passed into law, right? This was implemented under Obama's administration, and they just launched an investigation. It's almost like you get information from the top down. The top says, listen, I need you as the enforcer, the Department of Justice. I need you to go investigate these guys, because what they're doing is it's leaving gaps open to our banking system and to the world that fraudsters can come in and disrupt things, right? So the crazy part about this is you had banks, you had legal businesses, right, that were utilizing banks that they were essentially just shutting off access to. They were shutting off the money flow, the pipeline for these businesses to continue operating. Like these businesses, let's say firearms dealers, these guys were operating legally, 100% within law. And because there were people who was, I guess they believed it to be super risky, they would use the bank that this company would use, or that a multitude of companies would use, and they would shut off the money to it. Or they would launch a probe into that bank or that money provider and shut them down completely. So you could have $1 million in your account. Just like that, they stop all money flow. So you had no access to your capital. You had no way to purchase more guns, right, for your business, which is supply and demand. You couldn't suffice, or you couldn't sustain, right? So a lot of businesses were starting to shut down because of this. And this is illegal, 100%, right? But because it was launched by this administration, nobody said anything. The next administration came in years later. Now everybody's in an uproar because it started to happen even more towards the latter end of the Obama administration, right? So now Trump comes into office and everybody's like, they're in an uproar, like, hey, we need to make sure that we have some sort of scrutiny and we need answers, right? So now everybody is asking Trump for these answers. Fast forward, there's different probes. A lot of things were brought to light, and it was revealed that this was never passed into law, but this was an ongoing thing, right? So now here we are today. Who's the new president? Obama's vice president. So here we are today. We have Choke Point 2.0. Choke Point 2.0 is where it's a whole bunch of regulatory enforcement actions all geared towards the crypto industry this year, right now, 2023. And there's a whole bunch of crypto advocates who argue that the signature bank shutdown was all part of Operation Choke Point 2.0, right? And this is all just regulators and lawmakers to cut off banking services to crypto companies. And Steve just broke this down to y'all. He told you that all of the banks that just shut down, they all were early adopters in cryptocurrency, right? So now you're starting to tie it together. Wow, okay, 2.0 hit. These banks were all crippled over the week. And you've seen how the effects happen, right? They shut down Signature Bank, SVB, Circle, the USDC issuer, had $11.4 billion in reserve currency, and this is per their website's attestation, it showed that they had 11.4 billion and it was inside this bank. So when the bank shut down, what happens to USDC? It broke the peg because there were so many people trying to get out of USDC. They were shifting their holdings from USDC, a stable coin that was super transparent, right? They're the most transparent stable coin that probably exists. And everybody had so much fear that they had to get up out of that stable coin. So once they moved out of it, you just instantaneously saw that DPEG. It created the FUD, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So when you get things like that, they cause chain reactions, domino effects in the crypto industry. But not only was Circle the only coin that was affected, you had BUSD for Binance stablecoin. You had USDP, which was the Paxos stablecoin. You had TUSD. There was a ton of them, right? So when you're looking at stablecoins, right? Steve just told you guys one of the best friends is probably going to be Bitcoin and Ethereum. I personally feel like because this narrative is already being laid out, proof of work doesn't work, proof of stake doesn't work. And I've said this a million times. You're starting to see now they're attacking ETH. Bitcoin doesn't truly have an owner, right? There's not one person. There's a multitude of people. And they led people to believe that they don't know who the creator is, right? That Satoshi situation, PSYOP. And when you look at how everything is unfolding in the crypto industry right now, you can almost see it for what it is before it happens. So Gary Gensler comes out and he says, well, backtrack. Letitia James, the New York Attorney General, she comes out a couple days ago and they sue KuCoin Exchange. When they sue KuCoin, wrapped up in that lawsuit, they state that Ethereum is a security. And we know this, if you've done any due diligence, you know that Ethereum started off as an ICO. So by definition, it's a security, right? Then fast forward, this just came out, I think yesterday or today. Gary Gensler comes out and he says Ethereum is a security, and he suggests that proof of stake tokens are all securities. So now think about this. When you look at proof of stake, all of the coins that are ERC20 based, they fall under that security umbrella, right? And this is a field day for Gary Gensler because this is what he wants. This is what he's always wanted, right? But I told everybody in the 1% who was there for day one, you knew about ETHgate. This is all unraveling, right? They only existed because of pay to play. They rubbed shoulders with the right people. They were able to get this far. But now you're starting to see the chinks in the armor. That whole blockchain wasn't even effectively ready to be released. That's why you have so many cons as opposed to the pros. But there are, on the pro side, there are a lot of companies who found it easier to build upon. So what they did was, in the ecosystem, just in general, there's so many ERC20 tokens because of the smart contract option, right? That capability is a game changer in the space of crypto, right? But when you have people like Gary Gensler who are in this position of authority, who overreach, and you have politicians like Ms. Warren, the Senator Warren, they hate crypto and they want it to crumble. But Gary Gensler, he's playing a game. This guy's a puppet because he used to teach at MIT and he used to teach all this good stuff. So he's very well versed and he knows everything about proof of work, proof of stake. He knows about Ripple. But again, this guy is he's spearheading the lawsuit, of course, because he's in that position. But what I just want to bring to full circle is you're now starting to see all of these companies that had relationships with these banks. It's a lot of disruption that's going on. So once the industry just basically crumbles, you only are going to have a handful of coins, because just think about this. We told you 99% of cryptos were going to die on a previous .connect. How do you kill them off? Right? Things like this. You create fear in the markets. And when you're approaching regulatory situations and you're actually trying to bring this to a head, and this is a global thing. This is not just in the United States. This is a global thing. Everybody in all these countries have to be on one accord. So once they do finally get on that one accord, they're making you feel like the United States is super, super, super behind. But all of these guys have been working together. The UK just put out another regulatory statement. So now they're getting closer. And of course, they've been working with the G20. The G20 is out of India. That G20 is headed by India right now. So you're starting to see this, and they keep ramping up these talks about CBDCs. So the more they keep talking about these things, they're just creating a situation where you don't know what to do. If you're not around people like me and Steve, and you're not surrounded by a community that's going to feed you constant information and give you know-how before things happen, you're in a disarray. You're confused. You don't know what to do, right? But that's by design, because once they come in and kill off, the only thing that's going to survive are the true coins that have real-world utility. And all of this stuff right here, truth be told, it's all smoke and mirrors. They're going to continue to do this until they're ready. And this weekend is huge, because this is the piggyback off something Steve was telling you guys about. So this weekend, there's a new system that comes on board. This is going to be the catalyst that changes all the financial system in its entirety, right? The system is going to run parallel for the next 2 years, right? So this weekend in the Eurozone, all banks, not some, not a couple, all banks have to be on the system. So the T2 is called Big Bang, and you guys can research it if you want to. This Big Bang system, it just basically means it's going to be an overnight approach. All banks, by close of business on Friday, are going to migrate into this new messaging system, this new, I don't know what to call it without coining it. So I'm just going to say this new system, right? Everybody has to migrate and adopt it. By Monday morning, it's 100% operational. All banks in the Eurozone. So this right here, I need you guys to understand how powerful this is. You got entities like the BIF, the IMF, BIS, the IMF. All of these guys are coming together to literally change the way we transact and the way money flows in our hands, out of our hands. But these guys are working from the top down. So they're going through banks. They're going through central banks, right? Then they're going through the normal banks. And then, of course, you have your big guys like your BlackRocks and all that, these guys who are able to buy these other smaller entities. So as you see these banks collapse, I believe Signature was one of those banks. They had just plussed up and had, I think, infusion of capital. And this was recent, 70 billion, I think it was. They had an influx. So what they did was they liquidated some things and they had an influx of capital that was on hand. 3-4 days later, right after it, you had the collapse. Now, again, think about that. You had a bank collapse that had just had a huge infusion of cash. So now you have somebody that has to acquire them. But the bank that acquires them only acquired a portion. So the SVB, it was acquired, the UK arm, it was just purchased by HSBC. What is the big deal about HSBC? Is the gold and commodities and things like that it holds. They are a huge institution, right? So when, if let's just say HSBC never ever went in and acquired them, the bank would have crashed. And then now you have to think other markets would have trickled and continued to collapse. So this is like literally a snowball effect. So as things are starting to happen, I'm almost, and I got to say this kind of, I got to walk a fine line, right? Because I don't want to make it look like I'm celebrating, when these bank runs happen and these banks become illiquid and things like that. We've both been saying this. Me and Steve have said this so much, even before we met one another, that this was going to happen. So as it's now happening, you're starting to see it in real time, and then the landscape becomes so much clearer. It's really, really happening right now. And I don't want to go too deep into the whole XRP situation, but that's going to play a large role. So as you saw over the weekend, you can't stop crypto. You can't stop the way people are operating now, because decentralization is the key, right? So everybody wants to know, like, hey, what do I do when this bank collapses, or where should I put my money? Of course, you would put it in the smart assets that, that hold their value. Commodities, gold, silver, palladium, copper, etc. And then outside of that, you put it into crypto. And when you put it into crypto, you've seen it verbatim. What assets went up over the weekend when all of this happened? USDC depegged, Paxos stablecoin depegged, Binance stablecoin depegged. Where did the money go? It flowed right into Bitcoin. It went to the big dog. Now think about this. Right under the big dog is Ethereum. So Ethereum went up. Ethereum seen 23.33% gains over that weekend. So it went up to 1776. So as it hit that number, everything else that's still coupled to Bitcoin and Ethereum, because anytime Bitcoin goes up, the market goes up. We are now sitting at $1 trillion. We weren't there. So now that we're back at the trillion range, think about that. If a stable coin depegs, where do you go? You go into Bitcoin. As you're in Bitcoin, whatever happens is then going to start to flow into other altcoins. Now think about this. This is the think piece. This is what I wanted to get to. So I had to take y'all on that little roller coaster just so y'all can understand. Bitcoin crashes, and there's no stable coins right now. Let's just use this as an example. There's no stable coin. Most people flow their money into Bitcoin. Letitia James, the New York Attorney General, is at Ethereum's neck right now. Let's say Ethereum gets brought into litigation, and people are scared now, because now they're like, oh man, now the same fate that Ripple faced, over XRP, now it happens to Ethereum. You already know, just from us alone, that Ethereum's products are, truth be told, basically in beta status. It's not even fully developed, right? So it's ready for enterprise, but it's not ready for adoption. Ethereum goes into litigation. Gary Gensler says Ethereum, they walk their decision back, that free pass that they got. And they say it's a security. Now what happens? Back to what Steve said, high price stable coins. There's a couple coins that we've been using and we kept our money in for years, and the price has been stable. Over the week during this collapse, when USDC collapsed, Ripple only dropped 3 cents. That's it. So now when things start to appreciate, and it's one of the only coins that has not hit its all-time high or surpassed it yet. It hasn't went on a bull run. So as soon as this case is over and we're starting to wrap things up now, it's common sense. And again, that's not financial advice. I'm not telling you guys, to go ahead and do that. Listen, that's on you. You just do your due diligence. I'm just telling you, these coins were built to sustain the test of time. They sustained FUD. They sustained lawsuits that were frivolous for multiple years, right? And you still see all of these big institutions, all of these fintechs, they're all using certain technologies to be able to sustain themselves, because now we're moving off the old traditional system. With this new system, you're able to do so much more from a business aspect. You could do this so much cheaper than what you could do right now just by using certain blockchains, certain technology that allows you to transact so fast. And this weekend, think about it. We're moving off the old system. In the Eurozone, a lot of the US money is funded from the Euro. We don't produce things here. A lot of that money comes from the other side. We're funded by the IMF. So it's a lot that you guys have to start putting together. But from the seat that I'm sitting in, I'm ultra excited because this is now happening. There's going to be some more turmoil. And there's a couple people who side with me. Brian Brooks, the former comptroller of the currency, he's now on the board for HBAR. And he believes the exact same thing. He said, listen, I feel like these banks are being weaponized and they're attacking crypto. So you're seeing a political war go on, and you're starting to see the guys that's in power right now, because they don't officially have regulatory clarity and they haven't given it, they're not on the same page with the rest of the world yet. They're just going to attack it. They're going to beat it up and they're going to crush it. They're going to make it look like nobody should be here. The people who are strong-minded, strong-willed, and they know what to do and they're positioned correctly, they're just going to sit and wait. And once the lights come back on, you're golden. So this is it's a lot, you know what I mean? And I'm glad you guys are actually here. You guys are tuned in. You guys are, I see you guys dropping info and dope articles in even in the beginners chat. So I'm in love with that. I love to see it. And everybody that's on the 1% side, listen, I'm gonna continue to go crazy, but I definitely want you guys to interact with the articles. You know what I mean? If you don't understand something, make sure you let us know so that we can further explain it or give you, something else to connect with it, because it's all tied. So all of this current information, I know it can be a lot, but you need it. It's necessary. Super necessary.
Good shit. Good shit. Listen, so this is what you call ruling by enforcement, right? No voting, no nothing, no search warrants. Just let me have that. The part that we kind of left out is what you have to understand is any bank, any financial institution, or any body who's in crypto right now is considered an innovator, right? The one thing that all innovators have in common when they're building out products for this next financial system is they hate everything about the current system right now, right? So you're building this with that in mind, right? So the fact that the government is able to flex its muscle to sway, right? Not only, I mean, they've really orchestrated this situation where you have crypto-friendly banks whose deposits are now being held at JP Morgan, Bank of America. Those are the original cronies right there, right? They have the government, they work hand in hand. Those guys are under control, meaning they're not going to do anything crazy. They're not going to create decentralized platforms and offer off ramps and not give KYC is a big thing. And I agree with a lot of this stuff, at the end of the day anyway. But the one thing I could tell you is governments have been watching cryptocurrency and how people have used and adopted. I'm talking about 4% of the population are able to sidestep. People are feeding their families through cryptocurrency in countries where they're cut off from the banking system. So they understand the power of it. So before this train gets too far out of hand, especially in the United States, right? Because they know y'all not paying attention the way that overseas is. You know what I'm saying? People are like if you start to look at Brazil, France, Canada, you start to see people marching. Start looking into why these people are marching at the end of the day. They're marching against this new financial system that's being thrown on them because it's a form of control. We're talking about CBDC. When the United States drops it, guys, that is programmable money. And what do I mean by that? You can never save your money when it comes down to the United States government offering you a digital bank currency. It's going to have an expiration date on it. So imagine you got 4 hours to go spend this money before it goes away. You're going to do like some wild, dumb shit with it. Right? If I had to guess the way that we are at the end of the day. You don't want the programmable money, but we are going to fund our own demise when it comes down to it, because if we keep buying into this narrative that this bank is, I mean, don't get me wrong, the financial system is failing anyway, right? But that doesn't mean that all these banks have to go under and then customer deposits, go away. This Biden administration, he came out 2 days ago and he says, listen, we're not bailing the banks out. It's not going to come out of taxpayers' dollars. So, okay, I followed the trail on that. $100 billion is in a reserve government account, $100 billion. And this is what they're using to bail out those three banks. The issue with those three banks is those three banks don't really deal with like normal customers like me and you, right? Did you hear some of the stats coming out of it? 90% of the people are holding more than 250K in there. I heard Oprah was caught up in one of them things with 600 million sitting over.
Yep.
Right. So we're talking about big deposits. The fuck yeah, you're going to bail these people out. These ain't regular customers. Trust me, if this was your local credit union, good luck. Now, when you go to the FDIC website and you start looking into this certain situation, FDIC is not even an insurance company, guys. It's not an insurance company. They're not backed 1-to-1. They only have 1.3% of all total deposits. That's all they can cover. So if every bank was to go under right now, it is impossible for this insurance company to cover everybody. So I'm going to tell you at the first, so the next bank is going to be a bank that has retail clients, regular run of the mill guys. I can guarantee you that bank doesn't get bailed out. Nobody's covered, not even under the 250K. That's another thing you got to look at. So the 250K, when you look at the fine print, right? Whoever reads the fine print, you drop a one in the chat if you ever read or looked at that goddamn bank disclosure. Oh, I just opened this bank account, threw some money in here. You gave me a debit card, and I just want to be able to access my shit. What's all this shit? When you start to look at all this shit, it tells you the FDIC, that insurance situation, they have up to 99 years to pay you. 99 years. You open a bank account at what, 18? So you're going to live to 117 years before you see, technically by law, they can drop that money in your account in 99 years. That sounds crazier than the, these pharmaceutical companies dropping the COVID situation. They threw out a wild shit. They wanted all of us dead before they put out the facts. Yo, we got to wake the fuck up, man. And I'm telling you, this crypto situation, if y'all not believers right now that this shit is here to stay, then I don't know what else to tell y'all. And I'm telling you, there's new blood in the market. There's new money coming in. Those 6 banks that were working with Tacit in the last 4 years were only for a handful of institutional guys, right? Big players who just needed the on and off ramp to get into this industry. What happens when all the wealth pension managers, the money I mean, what happens when these trillions of dollars start to flow into this market? And understand, this is a new industry for these guys. So they're coming in at bottom prices. So that same shit that happened in the 90s with that tech boom situation, it's going to repeat itself all over again. Everybody is going to FOMO their money into these projects that we have already sat in for years. So I'm telling you guys, pull some profit. They're going to run them up quick and fast, and then they're going to pull them just as quick. And then we got to wait till, so this first run is going to be the institutional run, right? That institutional adoption. And then once that crashes, the next run is going to be more of mass adoption, which we have to wait about 5 or 6 years because motherfuckers is dumb. You could lay out the plan for them and they won't believe it. They won't believe it, right? So, and here's one more I got to share with y'all too. Champ, good shit on that dot connect with that situation.
Yeah, no doubt. Yo, you cook.
Good Obama's still leaving the shit behind.
Straight up. And people to just sleep. They don't understand.
So here's my crypto internet connection, right? So looking at crypto and only seeing the scams is like looking at the internet in 1999 and only seeing the bubble, right? We know that there was a tech bubble in 99, but that doesn't mean the internet went away. The second part to it is looking at crypto and seeing no use case is like looking at the internet in 93 when the web only had 3% of traffic.
Come on.
Right? So I like to tell that story of Mark Cuban. When Mark Cuban started broadcast.com, broadcast.com was supposed to broadcast over the internet, sports, right? It was a genius idea. Who bought it? Yahoo. Yahoo was king back then. Yahoo had all the money. They were buying every small company that had any inkling of an idea, they were just swallowing up. So Mark Cuban made his billions off of broadcast.com. That shit ain't even last 6 months before they folded. What was the issue with broadcast.com? None of us had computers, right? Nobody had broadband internet at that time, never mind if you don't have a computer. So of course, the adoption of pet.com and all of these .com companies that came that had brilliant ideas that we're using today, right? PetSmart, they're in different forms. The very same thing is going to happen now, guys. The very same thing. So once the rules and regulations come, it's going to take out a majority of the industry because we're dealing with 30-something thousand cryptos. Guys are creating cryptos. Every time a keyword hits the news cycle, there's an AI situation. 300%, 3,000%, 30,000%. I've seen some outrageous shit. So the rug pulling is still going on. So be easy following the news cycle in crypto. I'm gonna tell all you guys that now. We warned you prior to this. So again, yeah, we here. And I'm finally happy that we're here. And I'm telling you, I'm not going back to this one-on-one shit. Link in the bio. figure this shit out because we're moving past this at this point. We've created a wealth group who's probably in especially our 1% group. You guys are in a good position right now to change your circumstance. And you know, our pact from the beginning was to really turn this into I mean, we could be as powerful as a hedge fund, guys, at the end of the day. Right. This is what you call the greatest wealth transfer in history. Right. Champ and I told you this from the beginning. There is not a fiber of this world that's not going to be affected by crypto or blockchain technology at all. Right. It's either going to enhance your business or it's going to take it right out. So when they got you focusing on artificial intelligence and all that, that ain't it, guys. This is when you got to dig into that crypto and blockchain to understand what is about to happen now, or what's happening now. So clearly I had no clue that there's a banking blockchain that's processed over $1 trillion worth of transactions. And that's B2B transaction, guys, at 6 fucking banks.
That's crazy.
And they did damn near $500 million in one day. So you telling me when this money starts to flow into the projects that we hold, right? Our bags is packed. And this is exactly what's going to happen. I told people, yo, y'all got to get the fuck in, because once they cut the on and off ramp off, right? Once they start, because the exchanges are next to shut down. Binance.us, Gate.us, those guys are done. They're done. Once they cut that ability off, you won't have anywhere to purchase a stable coin. They've already attacked the stable coins like Champ told you. We know that USDC could be depegged. It was depegged quicker than Tether. And if you would have told me that a month ago, I'd have said, nah, I don't believe that one. Right. And the reason that Tether is unscathed in this situation is because them fucking guys don't have no capital to cover the outrageous stuff that they do on a daily basis for this market. But they are propping the market up. And we, you know, Champ's already told you what, you know, the whole Tether situation. Now we got a couple new guys in here that's asking what are the coins. And listen, my brother or sister, have you taken, do you even have the ebook yet? Yes or no?
So I'll drop it again. I'll drop all the links again. That way everybody has them.
Because at the end of the day, with the amount of people in my inbox asking me what projects they should invest in, it's like, guys, I'm not really here to do that, right? I want you to understand what this industry is, the power of the technology, how to read these products. Because even if I told you to go buy XRP, how much? Your next question is, how much should I buy? This is the common rookie situation I go through every day. How much should I buy? Where do I buy it? So if you don't know where to buy it, where are you going to protect it? Right. So you don't know the exchange. You don't know how to on and off ramp this situation. You don't know anything about self-custody. What's your target sell point on XRP? How high do you think XRP can go? What partnerships does XRP have internationally? How many bank partnerships do they have? You seeing where I'm going with all of this? HBAR, who's on the governing council? How much does that governing council, you know, how much a sales just nationally does that governing council combine? What nodes are they running? What problems are they solving for these governing councils? Because we're talking about over $300-400 trillion on that governing council right there, and that's just U.S. numbers. That's not even including international. We're sitting on distressed assets right now, guys. 6 cents on HBAR, the enterprise blockchain,
6 cents.
IBM, Boeing. Okay. So yeah, I can give you all the plays. But if you don't have the knowledge, you're gonna fuck it up. The minute the government says boo, you're gonna sell. Because they're gonna tell you, I'm mark my words, they're gonna come out with some shit like, listen, you're gonna hear this probably out of Biden's mouth. Any crypto that was purchased before April 1st, 2023 is deemed illegal. This is your last chance to sell everything that you have. This is kind of the buying. They did this with the gold rush, right?
Yep.
Hold on. Champ.
Talk to me.
I don't think they listen.
Yo, y'all up or y'all sleep out there? I mean, I just need to know.
I don't think they listening, bro.
All right, that's what I like to hear. As long as I know y'all up, we good.
I mean, even I got a couple people in here from the 1% group, and you guys have been like super quiet in there. Like super value's been adding. We're telling you what systems are going live. These are all buying opportunities. You're seeing the numbers going up with no problem, right? Filecoin, where we up? We up or down? Morpheus, we up or down? I'm throwing out some things right now. Y'all better take some notes. And the reason now I'm comfortable with throwing out whatever is because nobody knows what to do. And even if you did have it, you wouldn't know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I tell you, just listen, just gain the knowledge. The investment piece is by far the easiest piece, but it's way more fun when you actually understand what you're doing and you can teach others.
Absolutely, 1000%. I couldn't have said that better. That was a bar.
You want to
Facts, Dub. Everything crypto comes through Skype. Grab the ebooks and start. Very informational. Listen, and it's not about being salesy, like truly. Like I know I started, I can only speak for myself. I know in 15 when I first started, I didn't know none of this. I just knew that I was compelled by it. I knew that this was a disruptor. I knew that it was time for a change. I knew it was something that was new coming across my radar that was going to affect every other financial sector, every other industry. I knew it. First day on. So you got to get this info. You got to learn this. All right, I see you, Steve.
And the reason that, and you got to think, the reason that these bank runs are happening so fast, because back in the day, you had to actually go to the bank in a horse and carriage and get your shit out. But the digital aspect to it is what's creating that spark, right? Because you can instantly pull your money out of a bank by sending it to another bank, right? So this is the exact clip from the newspaper, the Postmaster clip. This was an executive order that was given out by the president. Now, this was sent out through a goddamn newspaper. If I had to guess, they were probably horns in the streets. Like, this is how they got messages out. Now you're going to get a text message to your phone. It's going to look just like this. You're going to have an executive order, guys. You better get they're going to start like this. Hundreds, 50s, and 20s are no longer deemed legal tender. You have 48 hours to get them all in your bank so they can be converted. This is how they're going to start the shit. And then you might get a flip side, a little small print to it where they think they slick and state that anyone holding any crypto prior to whatever date is deemed illegal, right? And you're breaking the law. The same way that these people lost their jobs over something that they didn't want to do. None of it was law. None of it was passed. They orchestrated the biggest scam in the history of the world. They closed down every single court, right? Every fucking court. As much as we use Zoom, you telling me we couldn't get into court, but we were on Zoom for everything else in the world, except for court, early on.
Crazy.
So y'all seeing where it's at. They're going to do the same shit again, because when there's no power, there's no access to anything. So in order to avoid these cyber attacks, this is the new financial quantum system that's about to be implemented right now. They're not saying that, listen, there's going to be way more cyber attacks on this system than there is on paper money, right? Because paper money still isn't tangible. You got to rob me. You have to legit go in my pocket to take it out. So we're going to have our challenges in this space, but we're going to have more coverage, when the players come. So it's like we got to give up something to get something at the end of the day. Right? We're not cashing out if these institutional guys don't come in. But the only problem is you have to keep an eye on the social credit score, the carbon score. So I'm telling you guys, if you don't have your assets up and your weight ain't up, they're going to rule over you like nobody's business, man. You're not going to be able to eat in this country. And I'm talking about like like a figure of speech. Like, seriously, you won't be able to eat.
Trying times we in.
Own nothing and be happy. Right? These guys want to lease everything out to you, including food. You would be buying food, you would be borrowing it.
You will be borrowing energy.
See, I think we making this shit up, man. Yeah, we look like we had 10 hats on a couple years ago, but shit ain't so funny now, right?
Straight up.
Hey, Cal, it's good to see you on here. I got a whole little ecosystem following me on IG that's way more active than the community I built in the university, which I'm not even understanding that part, but you know, it's whatever. Yo, listen, Q&A. Quick question. Dante, what you got? I wouldn't say big. Listen, banks have to have there's a percentage of all banks have to hold a percentage of gold bars on site, right?
Yep.
So it's not just Bitcoin, guys. Banks could hold about, I think I want to say about 2% cryptocurrencies. So that's not a whole lot. And there's not a whole lot of Bitcoin out here either.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing. Once you start to have banks, or more institutional guys coming in to buy that asset, it's scarce. And then the halving is coming up too. So that's another situation. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to send that thing to places it's never been before. So I definitely see it cracking what we saw, definitely past 70 this year.
Mm-hmm. April 11th, 2024.
The halving.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another date to put on your calendar, guys. All my guys who are trading options, futures, crypto futures, have that date on your calendar. A lot of money flowed into crypto this weekend. Just showing you the power situation. This thing has been fighting a war in Ukraine and Russia for over a year now, and it's all backed by cryptocurrency. Peer-to-peer is already launching in the West already. We sitting here, we don't even have the implementation yet. So everything B2B right now, guys, I would research the company I dropped. I would research the ISO code that I dropped. Start looking at your project, start to see, right? Because everybody's focused on the wrong ISO at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not linked with these banks with security, there's no banking system in America that's going to integrate with any blockchain or crypto project that's not registered correctly with the right security, because we have our own issues. Never mind trying to connect with a bank and we have doors that are being attacked.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't gonna happen. And I'm not saying banks don't get hijacked all day, but we never hear about it. Right? Their systems are pretty, you attack a particular server at a bank, they have a kill switch, and then it flips everything over to another. And if you attack that, they can just keep jumping servers with no problem.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't gauge Bitcoin as and you'll see in the next couple of years why I wouldn't gauge Bitcoin as anything. It does nothing outside of just evading. And it's a safe space for wealthy people to, swing hammers 7% back and forth every other day.
Yeah.
Fitz, what you got?
So the quick question was going on, fellas. I'm over here thinking about everything y'all saying. How will it be like a, I don't know, I might have mentioned this to you the other day when we were talking about, will it be a dual economy? Because if you got actually majority of the population is probably going to be going off of CBDCs because they're not aware or they didn't adjust or whatever the case may be, right? But say you're a business owner, are you accepting CBDCs? Like, how does that work? Because it's like you said, it's programmable money.
So, Steve, you mind if I take this?
Go ahead, jump in. I'll jump in after.
So with CBDCs, you got to always remember, first things first, CBDCs is a domestic product. So this currency, every country is going to have their own CBDC that has their own standards, their own principles, everything, right? So it's
Right.
only going to be able to be used in that centralized country. Then when it's time for it to move, it has to be on a platform that is country agnostic, which means it doesn't have favoritism to any other coin. So it has to move on a platform and able to be interoperable. So when you
Right.
start talking about, all right, so on this level, I don't want to high level this. I want it to kind of be, cut and dry so everybody can kind of grasp this. Just think about when you use your dollar, right? You use your dollar in the United States every day, right? You know what I mean? You use your cash. And in other countries, of course, the other countries can accept it, right? Because we had the dominance, the global dominance. We were the global reserve currency. In this new system, each country is going to be on a level playing field. We're all going to be, it's going to be a multitude of superpowers, right? So each country that's going to be using these CBDCs, they're only going to really use it in that central country. But then they have to use it on a platform that'll be able to swap it and exchange it almost instantaneously, right?
Okay.
So you know who that is. I don't want to keep, toting it, but that's the XRP ledger. It's one of the only ledgers that's able to do that, and it's already in operation. So it's like once these countries all dropped it, they dropped this toolkit years ago. I think it was like 2017 or 18, if I'm not mistaken, at Davos. And then all the countries were poised to create their own CBDC. Right now, you're starting to see all of these trials, these CBDC trials, and all these projects, Jura and Junta, and it's just a bunch of them. Right, I'd be here all day naming them. But all they're doing is basically sorting out the world's use of a digital form of currency. But this one has so much more controls that they have over. It's so much more transparency that they have that they can follow, right? They can put different strongholds on it that affects us, the user. That's why so many people are against them. So you just keep using cryptocurrencies. What's probably going to happen is 9 times out of 10, even if they do introduce CBDCs, you still got things like FedWire, FedNow that's coming out. That's about to, go live. It's nothing but real-time gross settlements. It's just faster real-time payments. The same thing.
Zelle.
The same thing Zelle do.
And they're using Ripple technology. It's the same thing. They literally adopted the real-time gross settlement system. So FedWire, FedNow, it's the same thing. And XRP and Ripple, Ripple is on the faster payments task force. It's essentially all you're using is XRP's technology on a system that they wanted to create.
Okay.
So you really ain't do nothing but take XRP and you just coined it something else. It's FedNow. Essentially Cash App. Like if I needed to send you something right now, it's there to you in a matter of seconds. Same thing. That's what these fintechs are already using.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's nothing major to it.
All right. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, listen, there's going to be a multitude of reasons why we won't be able to sidestep that situation. For one, universal basic income is going to be paid through that situation, right? Most people in America are going to be down with it. You see the bill that's on the floor now for a 4-day work week. Listen, these guys know that you're about to be unemployed, so of course they're gonna reestablish the workforce rules now, right? So now, to be considered a full-time worker, you might only need to work 20 hours. So that's just less money that they got to pay you out to sit home at the end of the day. So this ain't about public health and making sure people got their shit together. They know that all of these fucking what career in the United States is a 4-day work week? Because I work like a motherfucker.
What?
And I know I haven't clocked in no 4 damn days a week, right? And that's just as an entrepreneur. So who are they doing this for at the end of the day? That means you're making less money. They're not paying you any more money. They're taking a day away from you. So this is all y'all wanted. Y'all wanted these longer weekends, right? And it's a Friday on top of that, right? It's Friday. That shit is asinine, man. I mean, we're already kind of a lazy ass country. And y'all got to understand that America's product is people. That's our trade. Right. So when they talk about economic growth through the use of CBDC, trust me, what they give you is what is going to be put back into the economy. You're not going to be able to utilize that shit to buy an ebook course. I know how WIC works, right? All of this stuff has been around. So I don't think, you guys are putting your thinking hat on. There is government money and control over what you buy and can't buy in a grocery store through various programs, right? We just named the WIC situation. WIC is digital now. They made up paper money back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The government is paying people's rents as we speak right now through programs funded by taxpayer dollars. So they're going to create a massive fund for this stuff right here. And for as long as they'll be able to get the money back from them people, it will never be a problem. Right? Because if you took government funding and you plussed up yourself and you made your circumstance a lot better, then there's no need for the need for government at that point. Right? But for as long as you're relying on it, I'm telling you guys, they're going to pass it. Here's and I'll drop the article for you, but you might want to look at this. Fuck, what's that executive order that they launched? God, what's the executive order Biden and them just launched for the framework around crypto innovation?
Was it 14067?
14067.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do a dive on that. You don't even got to go too deep. But let me drop this. I got a bunch of homework. Yeah, I can start. I'm gonna post something on Instagram. You guys want to kind of run quarterback it and let it pass. You're gonna look like a fortune teller. It's gonna be the hit list for the next banks, and watch it all come to fruition before the month's out. This is crazy that all this shit is even legal. All right, champ. Any more questions?
Nah.
Listen, the newbie that was in here asking about what coins to purchase. You want to catch their name on here? I just want them to jump on.
Show some coins. Spread that up. Give me a second.
Clarence, you got your helium kit? Yeah. Did you get the Did you go with the mobile, the Freedom Fi?
Yeah.
Okay. Which system? Where'd you order it from? Freedom Fi or Helium Deploy?
The Freedom Fi link you sent.
Yep.
And I had another question with these because like my family does a lot of real estate, but looking about all these carbon credits and how they're gonna be running that in the future, I was like, should I buy land with like just plant trees and try to offset that? Because it's coming.
I mean, you see the new twist these guys got right now. The carbon credits are going to be huge. Now it's a matter of just understanding, how the carbon credits are calculated, right? And then how much value. So one thing that you can do, there's a few companies, and we dropped a couple of the companies, crypto company, blockchain companies. You can actually reach out to them directly and start to open up talks. And, just shoot the breeze with them, tell them how many acres you have, and just see, what sort of questioning they come back with and feedback, so that it kind of puts you on the right track. Carbon credits are going to be huge, but I wouldn't say just grab any lot. There's certain types of timber that fares better than others. There's a lot. Soil testing. So it's not a matter of just buying, just any raw forest at the end of the day. So just be real careful with that before you start to purchase real estate. So I got my man Daryl on here. Actually, one of my he was one of my earlier one-on-one clients. And he says he'll sponsor 10 people to get the ebook, guys.
Whoa.
So this is how, and I've Champ and I've given this ebook away too, right? But nobody pays attention, so it's like it becomes a paperweight, if that. So Daryl, I appreciate you on that sponsorship thing. So if anybody on here wants to be sponsored for an ebook, just drop it in the chat and we'll kind of arrange things for you. Daryl, definitely really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's dope. Super dope.
Did you put up your minor yet, Clarence?
Say what?
Did you connect your minor yet, or you just got it?
No. I just put in the order. I haven't gotten it yet.
Oh, okay.
I put in the order on Monday, so I'm waiting on delivery.
Okay. Yeah, it delivers quick.
Okay.
I sent the person who asked about could we drop the name of the projects. It just says iPhone, so I don't know the person's name, but I sent you a direct message. If you could unmute yourself, we just want hear from you.
And guys, just keep an eye too. Helium is being delisted off of Binance.us next month.
Eli said that's Gary.
Crickets.
Nah, that ain't me this time though. I don't know who that is, bro.
We know it is you.
It's two iPhones in here, so I don't know who's who, but it's all good. Yo, man, and page 194, I'm gonna drop another gem on y'all, just something for y'all to double back to understand where you going. You got to know what was set in place before you got into the space. So Executive Order 13772, page 194, left column, about 3/4 down the page, you're gonna see something. That's a super gem for you.
Devontae, go ahead.
All right, so I was on last week, and I know you told me to look up some the Helium project. So I went into the VIP group, and I was in the Helium chat, and I couldn't find anything about it. And I looked in the Zoom we did the week before, and I couldn't see any information. So I was just trying to figure out where that information was.
Didn't I drop that link in there?
Yeah, you did. It was on the call. It was in the chat. He had dropped it in the chat.
Oh,
Hold on.
Is there any way that I could see it on YouTube? Like
Nah, because I don't think you gave it. I think you just gave it on the call and just dropped it in the chat for everybody to
No,
see.
I have to. I was gonna turn it into a ebook and just make it a little pretty. Champ, we never had the playback for it. I thought we put that up in the VIP.
We may have. Let me check.
So you're looking for the playback, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, we have that. It should have been posted in the VIP right after. Are you in the VIP group?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that replay was definitely in there. Let me give you the I'm gonna give you the access to the document that I did.
It was before 26. Yep, I got it right here.
You got it?
Yeah. Here you go.
Where are you dropping it first?
Oh shit.
Huh? I need to speed. That only goes in the VIP channel on Telegram.
Yeah.
And then it can go in the 1% group, and then it can go inside of the Helium channel on Discord.
Yeah, gotcha.
And Devontae, go ahead and check the Helium minor channel in Discord.
All right, I'm gonna do that now.
Yeah, the document's in there. It's a raw document. I still haven't, prettied it up, but at least it'll get you enough to figure things out.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. Where you calling from? Where you in from?
Oh, I'm from Naperville, Illinois, but like Chicago.
Chicago area. All right.
Yeah.
How long you been in crypto?
Oh, I just got into it, so I'm learning everything. Like now, that's why I don't have too many questions. I'm just like trying to take it all in. You know what I mean?
Okay. You got our ebook yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. All right. You're on the right path, but listen, time ain't on your side. Time is on nobody's side at this point. They're cutting off access right now, guys. This is classic. And it's beyond. It's not even about protection at this point because there's really no rug pulls in the projects that we're dealing with. Outside of that breach the other day with H-Bar, and they handled it pretty smooth and easy.
Yeah, that was awesome. Is Dub still on? Yeah. Hey Dub, did y'all ever, you could drop this in the chat. I know you got the young kings over there. Did you guys ever go into the chat on the Discord, like while all that stuff was going on?
Nah, I had seen that you posted something as soon as you posted it, or you had made an announcement on your IG stories, and I hit Rad up, and then we was rapping about it, and then shit, bro, I just let the calm and the storm come because I was definitely worried, bro.
Yeah. Nah, but that's right there. That's one of the main reasons why y'all definitely got to stay like tapped in. Cause I mean, Steve was out. He was out and about doing stuff. He was handling business. It just so happened I was home. So he's like, yo, what's going on with such and such? As soon as I seen it, quick, did my due diligence. We got the resolve. We figured out everything that was happening, why it was happening, what H-Bar was doing, was able to provide the status page for everybody. And then the people was not panicking, but people was like, hey, where's my balance reflects zero. Why?
Right.
And then we were able to provide the answer as to why. You know what I mean? Little stuff like that is super important. Because if you're not poised and you're not like around somebody that's able to give you that info, you're gonna panic every time. So
Exactly. And then even I don't want to put his business out there, but even the guy, that I spoke on earlier, he had like 100 piece in there. You know what I'm saying? So he was freaking the fuck out. And I'm like, bro, I didn't have nothing but a little, I didn't have nowhere near as much as him, but I'm like, bro,
yeah,
that was crazy. And first time seeing it, and I had a mindset that I came in and I'm like, well, I mean, if it did do it, you always got to have that in the back of your mind, like it is a possibility that this could happen. You know what I'm saying? So coming in with that mindset, I was panicking, of course, but I wasn't like the normal person in the space because I'm like, shit, bro, like it's only so much that you can do.
right.
And listen, that's the space to be in because when I was actually out with my wife when that happened, and I told her, and she was like, well, what's going through your head? And I'm like, I've already kind of processed like, and this is not to like put this out there as powerful as words is, but being in this industry and seeing all that I've seen, and Champ's been there and losing as much as we've lost, I'm okay with this whole shit going. Like I told Champ, it's like we're gonna be on the right side of history no matter what. If this is one big rug pull, then it's like shit, this was a hell of a ride. All right, back to real estate or whatever. And if it takes off the way that we know it's gonna take off, then there's the I told you so.
Yeah.
But this shit ain't going nowhere.
At all.
It's really not. But I'm telling you guys, if you got paper hands, get out now while you up. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait till they crash it and then sell it, because you don't lose until you sell. That's just how crypto works.
Right.
Right. If you got any reservation about losing your money, get out now while you're up. And I can tell you that when you try to come back in another year, 6 months, these aren't the same entries. Spence, you know how this shit go. I was looking at Bitcoin at 150, 300. And every single time I said to myself, nah, 3,000, nah, every single time. And now I'm about to FOMO in at 24, 25,000 with no problem. And it's just a project that I didn't like. But if I was to store value somewhere. I know Champ ain't gonna like what I'm talking about right now, but it just my price point just hasn't hit yet. You know, once it hits that target point, it'll pick up my order.
Yeah.
It'll pick up my order. And if you wanted to do an order like that, I would tell you, I'm only fucking with Weeble or something like that.
Hey, real quick, Steve, before we'll hop, or Steve or Champ. So as a beginner coming in, right, and y'all know how I was when I first came in, I think everybody need to understand the importance of risk tolerance and being able to stomach this shit. Like you almost gotta come in as if you expect this shit to, you know what I'm saying, all this shit to go away, because now you able to go through the emotions of, like I say, the risk tolerance of you being down. Like whenever I first met y'all, bro, I'm down like 40 or 50,000. I know it's not shit compared to what y'all have been through, but to a person that's just coming into the space and then you think that this shit gonna go up. Like I bought Bitcoin at 60. I dropped like 25,000 in Bitcoin. The shit was 68,000. You know what I'm saying? So knowing on the way down, you like, oh shit, do I sell now? But just being able to stomach, I think a lot of the people need to understand the importance of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you made a statement. So we did a state of emergency call, and I remember that day I was sitting outside that day, and I was just like, you know, like what would you do if all the crypto went away? And most people would be devastated. You know, and my answer was, with the amount of knowledge that I have in blockchain technology, crypto, Web3 space, or whatever, I just know that there's going to be new implementation, new technology that's coming up. So you can take my coins, but you can't take my knowledge
At all.
right? And I got some more paper to put back in if I have to. I mean, I won't be happy about it, but you're not breaking me. Money never in the last decade has no control over my life like the way it used to. I don't put that value on it anymore like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it's a new digital asset that I know everybody's gunning for at this point, nah, I'm at peace with whatever they're gonna do, because they're gonna do whatever they're gonna do anyway. So going back to Dub's situation, Dub does, he assists people in like manufactured spending. So he has you guys might want to check him out, Dub, if you want to drop your site in the chat. What I'm telling a lot of my creatives and business owners now is, you have to, don't look at crypto solely as an investment vehicle. Start to research your industry, right? Look at the projects that are building out things that are going to transcend the credit market, transcend the lending market. We're moving to asset base now. Are people going to be able to just get high credit lines off of credit scores? No.
Nope.
You have to get a little bit more now.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when they start to set up these CBDCs. They're going to position in a way where there's haves and have-nots. There's no middle ground anymore, guys. We're not talking about, there's no more middle class in America. You either gonna have it or you're not.
Yeah.
And once this system's implemented, having $1 million is low income.
Low income
In comparison to what's about to happen. They're building another layer of the economy in a digital space, guys. I mean, we're doubling the bag right now. And there's no leaders. That's the wild part. There's no leaders right now. Spence, you ain't saying nothing. I've been rug pulled, man. FTX is, I mean, he did he's on a whole nother level and caliber. But yeah, this rug pull stuff, anybody that's been in it since 14, 15 knows. I've had every exchange in South America shut down on me in 18, right? This is where we were getting our stuff from.
Crypto from, yeah.
And if it wasn't for was it Bitmart?
I was using all kinds of things, Cryptopia, Bittopia. There's all kinds of random exchanges.
But I'm saying Bitmart was like the lost leader right now,
Oh yeah.
If it wasn't for them, I was cooked, bro. I'll be honest with you. I was cooked. I lost, I had a little bit of Bit. I had, can't tell you how much of it I had. I had some ETH that went to South America. And it's virtually nothing you can do. You can't call. There's no customer service. Crypto wild, man. Absolutely wild. I don't even send emails anymore.
Yeah.
I don't even read or open crypto emails. Put it that way.
At all.
They tell me, oh, you won this and you got this. And I know I earned it, but it's like, I'm not. I'm cool.
No links.
Kels is on here too. She's funny because she's like, listen, I don't click any links on the internet. I mean, I'm surprised she clicked the Zoom link. The way she was sounding. Yo, it be like that, man. Listen, we gave you a lot of research, but if you look at that tacit pay, I think it's gonna really be an eye opener for all things institution. It's gonna tell you exactly what these guys have been doing and how the banks are utilizing this situation right now. Like the 8 years in the works, 4 years on a launch, $1 trillion in total transactions already. 6 banks. 6 banks, and these aren't even tier 1 banks.
Crazy.
So whose money is that? And you know the federal government, the largest Bitcoin holder. So they have the most interest in Bitcoin going up.
Mm-hmm. You see something.
All right, 2 hours, man. It's a good hard stop coming up. You can take us out when you're done, Chink.
Yeah. Nah, so what Steve was just talking about, I just wanted to look and see. So I went on CoinMarketCap just to see, like, right now, what's the circulating supply of Bitcoin right now. So max supply is 21 million and circulating supply is 19.3 million right now, Bitcoin. And I was just thinking about the amount of Bitcoin that's hitting the markets from the Mt. Gox situation, 138,604 Bitcoins. So I was just like, yo, even with the scarcity of Bitcoin, adding that amount of Bitcoin back into supply, into circulation, and allowing people to be able to, sell off when the average buy-in was 800, I was like, yeah, this is wild. And it's at 24. Now, we just went on a wild roller coaster over the past couple of days, and it's at 24. Still selling it. Nah, this is wild.
I got something for y'all. We can leave on this one.
Back expense after it dropped when it was 19K. Yep. That was a wild ride for the past couple of days. Super. Get creative, make the banks invest in the crypto for you. Yep. That's crazy. You back.
All right, champ. This will be the last situation. People wild out here. All right, champ. You can take them. I'm just dropping the image in there.
All right. So that was episode 27. You know what I mean? We walked y'all through bank runs, bank drops, choke point 1.0, 1.2, I mean 2.0. So it's just a lot going on. So you guys just make sure you stay on your toes. You stay tuned into the university. Thank you to all the newcomers, all the newbies that joined us for the first time. Greatly appreciate y'all. And that's that. That's the episode.
Somebody rented a budget truck and put Jerome Powell on there with a Bitcoin logo, and it said "Be your own bank," and sat it in front of Silicon Valley Bank. Buy Bitcoin.
Dope.
This is the signs of the time, guys. In 10 years, we're gonna look back. This shit gonna be funny. Most people won't get it.
Straight up. Yeah, you were warned.
He said they coming for 10 million jobs.
He gonna keep raising rates. He said 2 million people gonna be out of jobs. Crazy. Crazy. Soon as he hits 1%. So that's like, we close.
All right, man. Y'all stay really, keep your head up and figure this shit out. Guys, if AI is taking over your industry, it's not AI's fault. You just need a new skill set. This is what happens when, technology is evolving and fast. So stop acting like we haven't been living in a digital world in the last 10 years. Last time you touched cash, champ?
Oof, man. 2018, 2017, maybe. Anything but crypto.
Listen, just stay close to a crypto community, guys, because there's going to be way more panic. And Dub, get at us first, man. You got direct line, so you know what it is.
Yeah, always.
Yes, sir. Champ, I just shot you a message too. I don't know if that's any
Yeah. Yeah, I touched on this when we first got on the call about that Credit Suisse.
Oh, got you.
Yeah, Credit Suisse up next.
Straight up. More bank runs, more crashes, more collapses. It's coming.
But listen, they can't just keep your money in the bank, guys. Like don't go FOMOing right now. Be smart. I actually got a report coming out. So in the next couple of days, I'm going to be asking you guys on Instagram what banks you bank with. I'll be pulling records and reports from banks and dropping them back inside of. I'm going to create a Telegram channel that's just going to show. And then if you see the lifeline of your bank kind of losing, you kind of see where it's going. And this is all public information too. This data, you can compile this. These are, publicly traded companies, so you will see the losses on their balance sheets. But nobody cares till it's too late. So, and if you got under 250K, I guess you're okay. And if you got 99 years, you'll see your money. Okay, but I'm going to drop once we create the channel. I'm keeping this in Discord just to drive everybody kind of back to one central location. And if I don't answer you on Instagram, guys, it's not that I'm trying to be a prick. It's just what you're asking is what everybody else is asking. Just bring it to the university. If you don't know where to go, start in the beginner's channel.
Absolutely.
They'll get you right.
All right, y'all. So
Champ,
we out 2 hours, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Listen, you cooked today. You definitely got the crown.
Appreciate you, brother. Love you.
Love you too, bro. Let's get it. All right, catch y'all later.